Let's go. Hey, everybody. It's Sean and India.
Yes.
Coach Marketing Mastery Podcast. India, Kern, how are you
Good
doing?
morning. Doing fine. Thank you.
So, we are going to be talking about actually, just so everyone knows, India is the one that this is really her podcast. She's the one that comes up with all the topics, all the bullet points, and has more information than I do. I kind of just wing it, and she does all the prep. So, she makes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I eat it. So, what are we talking about today?
So we're talking about really knowing who you're targeting, your ideal client, your persona that you target anytime, social media, if you're having a conversation with a neighbor, an elevator pitch, an email, all that, because a lot of people don't know what they want or who they're talking to, and we run into that a good bit.
Yeah, here's what's really funny is I have a thing called the Ultimate Avatar Revisited,
Mm,
and I wrote this probably about 10 years ago, and we won't go into that, but it's I totally forgot about this, so I'm going to look
mm.
that up as you tell us a
Okay.
little bit about how what direction do you want to take this in?
Right. So, well, I like to, actually, it's something that I run our clients through who are getting social media management because we have to be on the same page with who we're talking to.
Right.
And so first you have to identify the character, right? And I will say that this is borrowed from Donald Miller, who probably borrowed it from someone else. So this is not my original
Yeah.
content.
I mean, it's in the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, everyone borrows it, right? So you start with a character and you start describing that, like even their values, who they are, what they stand for. And if you were to look at a lot of coaches, like we have some health coaches, who are they talking to? Is it women only? Is it someone who's over 45? Are they going through menopause? Like really niche down, because the more niche down you get, the better results. Because if it's so broad, you're talking to everyone and you're not really getting your perfect avatar. So the first one is describe your characters. So it's a learn to describe your ideal client's key characteristics, their values, and understand what they want to achieve by working with you.
Yeah, one of the things is I work with a lot of people, and most people know exactly what they want. So if they sell shoes, well, do you sell men's shoes or women's shoes? I sell
Mhm.
shoes to everyone. Okay, are they mountain shoes or are they city shoes? Oh, they're just city shoes. Are they cowboy boots? No. Okay, so you can niche down like into what type of shoe they have.
Mhm.
I actually wear the platform shoes like the band Kiss.
Yeah,
I'm wearing them right
awesome.
now,
Yeah.
and but the thing is, also, when you revisit the avatar, and I made this worksheet,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to look into it right now, and I have not looked at this in years. But the worksheet is really it's basic. It's pretty basic. So what is being said here is like write down your top 10 clients. What do they value? What do they offer? Um, how do they feel? So what do you think about that? Like how do they feel now and how are they going to feel afterwards? So is that part of the process that you do?
Oh, absolutely. So the next one is this character who you've identified as their key characteristics, their values, why they should be working with you. The next thing is they have a problem. Well, what is their problem? They
Besides
can't.
me?
Yeah.
So let's just dig into our own avatar
Okay.
because we have many clients now and we're pretty sure what their problem is and we're pretty sure of how we would like them to feel. Now this is not so much how they feel after they work with us, but how we would like them to feel, and then we would could
Or
look
the
at they
results. I would say it's the results they get after working with
right,
us.
and now they call it the promise, right? But what are the problems that the people we work with, what are What are their problem? I mean, there's a ton of them.
There's a ton of traffic, getting butts in seats if they're a speaker or if they have a webinar, or their social media is getting like, 10 views. They're not branded. They aren't being seen. They're a great coach, but no one knows about them. So traffic, conversion, emails, like how to do a sequence. Many of our clients don't even have a really good CRM. And they are not nurturing their.
It's not just that. Here's the deal: is that first of all, it's going to be mindset, right? So, what do you think about the mindset? Now, a lot of the people that we work with, some of them are just knocking it out of the ballpark, right? We have 7-digit clients, but then we also have these multiple 6-digit clients, and then we have kind of the newer people.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, if I put the keys to the kingdom in your hand, even a 7-digit coach, they're going to go, I already know that. Or they're going to say, that's too complicated. Or they're going to say, thank you, and they're not going to implement.
Right.
So, so when it comes to the mindset, what are some of the things that you think, how would you approach someone with the mindset of, I already know that? First of all, you don't hire that person, or you don't let that
right.
person.
Well, what I see a lot, and I think it falls under this mindset, is they micromanage, and so because they think they know it all, and this makes for a difficult business relationship, because if they actually allowed you to stay in their lane, like in your lane, and they stayed in their lane, we could do our best work in in each lane. But what tends to happen is there's a lot of micromanaging, especially around content,
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to get your persona, your ideal client, your avatar, whatever you want to call it, down to a T. And you probably have more than one. You probably have like 3 to 5 that you want to talk to.
So do you know why people have to stay in their own lane?
Why?
Because it's their own asphalt.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. That's really good.
So the thing is that it's the mindset. So we have a few type of mindsets that we work with. Some of them are like, okay, what do we need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And they listen. Others are, I know what I need to do, and I know what you need to do for me, which is fine if they really know what they need us to do. When I whiteboard things, then that really says what needs to be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the challenge we have as an agency is, what is their voice? Who's their avatar?
Mm-hmm.
I even had someone recently say, here's what I want to market to. So I said, okay. And I made a bunch of content, and they're like, where'd you get that content from? I'm like, from what you gave me.
Right.
So it's not always easy to get the right message, when someone, to get it in their voice or really what they're saying. So even though you have that thing with Donald Miller, that little project, once you get past mindset, then you get into content. What are some of the challenges that some of these people have with the content?
Well, they haven't yet identified who they want to speak to, and I would suggest that you start small. Start with one, and then you build it out. But oftentimes when we ask, well, what do you do? Like, tell us more about your business and who you're targeting. They kind of go in circles because they haven't really sat down and thought of all the different types of avatars they're targeting. So this formula is so good at doing that. So we talked about having a character who has a problem. And so then the next one, who meets a guide. So we're guides, right? Or the coach is a guide. The guide helps them get from point A to point B. So if one of our clients is maybe they have social media issues, they're not getting any traction, they are unheard, nobody knows about them, then that's where we come in as the guide, and we show them tricks and tips, and we can even do it all for them, to where they actually have more eyes on their business, on their brand, so that we are selling the results, as most coaches are, right? So once you use us, you can have this, or once you use this coach, you'll have this. So think about yourself as a guide. What results are you going to get your ideal client?
Okay, so I'm going to go over this thing that I wrote back in, when did I write this? I know I wrote this in around 2012.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to read these off real quick. It says, define your ideal client. My ideal client consists of this, right? Write down your top 10 clients. What do they value? What do they offer?
Mm-hmm.
How do they feel once they finally found you, right? Like someone drowning and you're in a little raft and
Mm-hmm.
they're still in the water, but you're holding their hand.
Right.
What can I do to attract more business? How many ideal client types? Like this is important. Like if I sell shoes, do I sell cowboy shoes and boots and then tennis shoes and then skateboard shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is the problem that I solve, right? You don't get your feet don't hurt anymore. Why am I their best choice? That's a great question. What are my clients doing now? That's a great question. What other options do they have? What
Mm-hmm.
motivates my clients? What limits them? How would I know my avatar? And then you just summarize everything. So
Right.
out of all those questions, one of them is um like so the problem that we solve, I just want to go over this really quick. The
Mm-hmm.
problem that we solve, so we work with people that are that already have a list and are already marketing, and they just want to become a bigger fish in a larger ocean. I said that just for you. And the deal is a lot of the people, so I have a saying, it's a, how does it go? It says it has to do with fear, but it has to do with trying to look good and trying to not look bad, right? So trying to look good is if you're a speaker, as you're walking up to the microphone, you're trying to look good. But once you get the microphone in front of you, you're trying to not look bad. So what we're saying is we're taking these people, let's say they have on their list 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, we're going to get you to 20,000 people. And then they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to go over, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to the next level. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a challenge for us because we're like, you've got to make the images, you got to make the videos, you got to create the content. Don't tell me you're a coach and not a content creator. That's a new word, content creator. But if you're not a content creator, then you're just someone saying you're a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the problem that we solve for those people, or you as an individual?
Well, so they give us an idea of who they're targeting, and then we have software that we white label that will, if it's a social thing, say they have a social media problem, that we can blast out to all the platforms, so it makes their life a lot easier. So we solve that, and it takes that load off of them, so they can do what they do best, which is to coach or be an entrepreneur or speak or whatever their profession is. So that's one way. And then for others, I'll let you fill in on this, is when you, like, what you do best, which is traffic and getting the people. And once they're in there, or actually conversion, I do traffic, you do conversion. But once you build funnels and you get their people that come in the door with a lead magnet, and you nurture them and you build out these wonderful systems. So that's another way we solve problems. And we keep
So
it. Go
we
ahead.
just answered. We're answering literally our own problem. So
Yeah.
anyone listening to this podcast or this recording, our problem as an agency is we're getting people and we have a done for you and then we have a do it yourself, but we have a lot of do it yourselfers and
Mhm.
they won't do it themselves. And we're like, here's the thing, it's real simple. Make an image. Well, they don't know how to make an image. And I
Right.
think the problem that I have is I've had this problem my whole life. I was supposed to skip the 7th grade. I knew algebra in 6th grade. I was out of high school when I was 16 years old, but I went anyhow because all my friends went there.
Mhm.
My high school was so cool. They kicked me out of high school my senior year, but they kept me enrolled so I could go to the tech school for free and the
Mhm.
state would pay for it. So that's just my story. I'm not going to say anything else about myself, but the thing is that I just assume everyone can do what I can do.
Mhm.
There's two things that happen here. It makes you not know your value or your worth. That's one thing, because you just think everyone can do it and they can't. And then the second thing is that you tell people, hey, this is really simple. Just click here and everything happens. And then they freeze.
Right.
They're going to freeze for two reasons. One is they don't know how to do it. Two is they know how to do it, but they're too afraid to really become, they want to stay in the dream rather than live in the we have a saying, it's where your fantasies are smashed and your dreams become a reality. Well, they don't want to live in the reality of success because they're too afraid of success or failure, right? So they want to do either one. Right. So how do we break through that?
So we give them a plan, which is the next one.
Yeah. So give them a plan. I think we need to put a 0 at the end of everything we do, and only take people that can afford that. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So as a guide, we're guides.
Down as you go.
Okay, so we're guides, and you're guides, whoever's listening. So what we do is, as a guide, you offer a plan. So basically, it's the solution to their problem. And like Sharon was saying, we have a solution, but many people don't use it. And maybe it's a mindset, maybe it's a fear of failure, maybe it's a fear of actually success. So, so you as a coach, as an entrepreneur, offer a plan. And so you have to know what that plan is, of course. What would you say our plan is? I mean, we have quite a few.
Our plan is what we do in a business. So our plan is to world domination. I mean, you mean besides that?
Yeah, besides that.
Our plan, so that's a great question.
Well, to make them a bigger fish in a larger ocean, right?
Right. But so at this point in the journey, our avatar is just coaches, authors, entrepreneurs. We went from working with big, the bigger companies down to working with the newer coaches or the people that just are at 6 digits and want to go to the next step of multiple 6 digits, right? And so what's the next thing? The plan?
So after the plan, we call them to action. So we give them the keys to the kingdom, and then we define the direct action.
I think one of the challenges that we have, again, is it's not so much the avatar. We have the right people, but they just don't, we haven't got them to understand what they need to do. Like, no one's been able to get them to understand. It's like you can say funnel, and they're like, I know what a funnel is. I know what a process is. I know what whiteboarding is. I was just talking with a 7-digit coach that I said, have you ever done a funnel for your Infusionsoft? Yes, Sean, I know what a whiteboarding is. It's systems. Did the book read thing. I'm like, no, you got to do this. And I can guarantee you never did this, because I've seen your systems. I've seen your processes. They weren't whiteboarded. They were written, and so my point is that with our people, they are in their head. I know what a funnel is. I know what a landing page is. They go to so many webinars, okay, and so many events that they know the buzzwords. They just, even when we say we'll implement it for you, they're too afraid to see that.
So that
I'm talking about our problems now. We shouldn't be putting out our dirty laundry, but I'm putting it out there.
So we take them, we show them call to action, like the plan, right? And then it ends in success. So we are showing them, we get them excited about the end result. So that's what you do in the whiteboard, right? Yeah. You whiteboard, you think from the end. And so it's very valuable to do the whiteboard, because he does a great job of mapping out your journey and where you need to be.
I have a client right now, they have no idea, but once I finish what I'm doing for them, they're going to go, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm like, yeah. I mean, even though you put it on the whiteboard, you still don't know what it really does until you see it and you're like, oh my God, that's like a mechanical awesomeness, right? But back to the avatar, go ahead.
Right. So then, so we show them the ends of success. And then the 7th step is we help them avoid failure. So how do you help a typical client avoid?
Well, usually what I do is I do a one-on-one private session at their house. I get them in a headlock and I go, look, I got this. We got you. I did this for you. Get out there and speak. All right. I'm just hoping they're watching this.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you avoid failure for, let's just, take
Okay.
a
This is a great
typical client.
question. And it's also for myself. So there's fear of success and fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And so my coach, Craig Jacobson, who I love and adore, and I met him in 2012, and he's a North County guy. This guy has taught me everything I know. I would not be where I am. I mean, like when I joined his little mastermind group,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I knew stuff, but I really didn't implement, right?
Right.
And he always told me, this is before people said fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
He would just say, fail at an epic level and look at the numbers.
Right.
And so there's a saying, if you want more success in your life, triple your failures, right? And so I think that's kind of what we've been doing the past couple months. Is there's been a lot of failure, but there's been a lot of growth,
a lot of success too.
And I also want to kind of bring in like a spiritual aspect to this. Is India is a very good, nice person, and she's spiritually fit, and she also has a certain religion that we're not going to go into that. And then I'm also like, well, I do my spiritual activities, but I'm like, hey, maybe I need to get more active in that. Now, why am I saying this? Because I'm talking about the failures and being spiritually fit to go, the reason that didn't happen was there's something better for me down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that promise, not on paper, but just in my heart, that's a real big deal. That they can't put that on paper, because if you don't have that faith.
Right. It's believing in something you cannot see.
Right. And so I heard a great thing yesterday that they said Santa Claus isn't real because you can see him.
Okay.
So you got to chew on that.
So the last thing is the character transformation. So the results, right. What does your ideal client get after they work with you? And the journey of the transformation. So right. Again, the whiteboard is a perfect idea, or the epitome of the character transformation.
Right. And so the reason that this podcast is really inspiring me, I have about 5 people I'm thinking of right now, and I'm telling them, they'll say, well, Sean, this and that, and we'll try you out. I'm like, look, I have got to make you a success, mm-hmm. because it's my reputation and other people right. watching, mm-hmm. right? So if you don't achieve that success, if you don't get what I promised, if you don't get the promise, then that means I, as the what do you call them? The Yoda? I, as the Yoda, failed.
Right. Right.
And I don't know many Yoda stories where Yoda failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even in like any movie, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, mm-hmm. The guru always, mm-hmm. even if the guru falters, they still succeed at the very end, right?
Right. So let me recap everything. And if anyone wants this, I'm happy to give it to you. You just have to reach out to me.
So go recap it. I'm going to give you 5 minutes and I'm going to shut up.
Okay. So there are 8 steps. Now I haven't memorized them all, so I will be reading a little bit. So first you start with your character. Now your character, you learn to describe their key characteristics, their values, and understand what they want to achieve by working with you. Number 2, has a problem. This character has a problem. This is your ideal client. Identify the external challenges, the internal challenges, and the philosophical problems your ideal client faces. The third thing is they meet a guide, which is you. You're going to walk them through 2 solutions. So discover how to demonstrate empathy and establish your authority to effectively guide your clients. Number 3, meets a guide. Number 4, who gives them a plan. So define direct actions and transitional steps to encourage your clients to engage with you. Number 5, you call them to action. So you define direct actions and transitional steps to encourage your clients to engage with you. Number 6, the ends in success. So visualize these successful outcomes and improvements your clients will experience, and you have to convey that to them. Number 7, that helps them avoid failure. So you've already been there. You already know all the pitfalls. You're going to share that with them. So address the negative consequences of inaction and help your clients take proactive steps. And lastly, character transformation. This is what they go through when they work with you. So map out the journey of the transformation that your clients will go through when they work with you. So you're going to map out the initial struggles to the ultimate success. So those are the 8 steps to defining your ideal client. And this is your persona that you're always going to talk to. So no matter what you're doing, if it's an email, if it's a social post, if it's a blog, if it's an elevator pitch, if it's a speech, if you're talking to the neighbor down the street, you will use this way of identifying your ideal client so that your message is clear and you have clarity so people can refer you and know what you do.
Okay.
And that's it. So any comments, or you have anything on that you'd like to talk about?
So throughout that whole process, what do you think is the most important thing?
I think the problem is the most important thing, because you really have to dig into their pain, because people buy when they realize that you have the solution. You're selling results. You're selling the solution. But without the pain, they don't feel it. And if they don't feel pain, they're not going to buy your services.
Right. And the thing is, I'm doing market research right now on marketing agencies, and it's kind of feeling a little, these are my friends, and I mean friends of 10 years. Mm-hmm. So why would your friend of 10 years want to, do business with you when you're in the same situation? And the deal is because we're in the same situation, but it has to do with a lot of pain. Now, one of the things was when I was first growing up in this industry, is there's a lot of people out there saying, well, I would rather push people towards love than push them away from pain. And I'm like, look, if you find a sword in their side, you got to dig it in deeper.
You got to pour salt in the wound.
Yeah. And then I actually twist the sword, right?
Yeah.
Like that visual. So the thing is that that it's really like looking at those pain points. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people, like in the Avatar Revisited, and I remember this thing being so cool, and I can't even remember it now. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I made a worksheet and everything, but what I had initially done, so we're going to say, so it says, this had to do with spiritual stuff, right? So I actually did this work. So how does my avatar feel once they finally found me, right? Mm-hmm. My avatar finally realizes what I do and how I can help them. They're excited, right? Mm-hmm. I can speak to others. So what can I do to attract more business? I speak to other groups. I can have more webinars and live events. Imagine that. I wrote this 10 years ago and this problem is still the same, right? I mean, the solution is still the same.
Right.
How many ideal client types? Solopreneur, marketing team, small business owner. What is their problem that I solve? So this is what I wrote 10 years ago. Most of my clients have a problem capturing leads, converting them, and upselling them.
Yes.
One of their biggest issues is keeping in touch with everyone on their list. They consistently lose business because of their lack of organization when it comes to leads. Mm-hmm. Why am I their best choice? Not just anyone can implement automation. As simple as it seems, it takes years of study and experience in order to perform a simple campaign correctly. Mm-hmm. The trust, the ROI, and testimonials will help anyone make the best decision in a short amount of time. So check this one out. It says, what are my clients doing now? Most of my clients sleep well, but are frustrated with the fact that they know they could be doing more business with more quality people, but don't know how. They are currently researching different areas to generate more leads and retain them, but do not know the appropriate keywords to use. Wow, this is back in the day. They have spoken with various marketers and professionals, but all of them are either too expensive or have failed miserably. They continue to find the right person, but are coming up to a no hope attitude because they feel that they know what they need to do, but don't know how to express it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, I mean, that still applies today.
Everything. I can't even believe I wrote this.
Well, the keywords, the SEO, not so much, but the other, yeah.
So then I have what motivates my clients. The number one motivator for all my clients is they have an idea, want to let the world know about it, and attempt failure after failure to get their message out there. They are undeniably brave and will stop at nothing to make their business move forward in a powerful fashion. So check this one out. I only have two more. It says, what limits them? We should actually do a workshop on this because
Yeah,
I
I think it would be great. Yeah.
this is the workbook that I filled out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, what limits them? One of the major forces limiting my clients' inability to implement a marketing campaign. Every time they attempt, it looks great to them, but it fails. And they lose interest in the mechanism they're using and they lose faith. It's just, oh my gosh, is that Go High Level? Is that Infusionsoft? Is that Active Campaign? Is that Keep? Is that any CRM out there?
Right.
They attempt, it looks great to them, but it fails and
Right.
they lose interest in the mechanism they are using and they lose faith in the system. Holy crap.
So we should just turn this into a workbook, and anyone that comes on board, we should just say, hey, fill this out.
I know I have it. And how would I know my avatar? My avatar isn't always easy to see, but the biggest reveal is they're frustrated in all of their marketing effort because they cannot see the results. And that has to do with dashboards. So check this out. I have a worksheet, and I'm going to say the worksheet is define your ideal client, start at least 10. Start at what? This is only, oh, here it is. Identify your top 10 best customers. What do they have in common? So let's do this real quick. Can we do this real quick?
Sure.
How much time do we have?
Well, okay. We've been on for a half an hour, so.
I know, but I want you to, let's identify our top 10 clients.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to say our top 10 clients, without saying any names, are people that have gotten into the program. So she is actually, her picture. You know what's funny is I didn't know she was going to be someone that actually implemented the work, and we put her picture in our little PowerPoint, and she's really one. And then we have another one that is really going out there and implementing the software. And she calls it You There Everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere you want to be, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then
we there everywhere is what she calls it.
I call it Everywhere You Want to Be Soon. Soon you'll be there.
Yeah.
And then it's called You There Instantly. And then so that's two of them. And then we have a lot of other ones, right? That are really like taking the massive action. But to identify them, it says think about all your customers, write down the 10 successful, the ones that really appreciate your work. If you there was a project that had everyone really excited, what had a fruitful completion, ending on time and on budget, write that down as well. So I'll tell you that the things that I've done as an automation guy, they've been the summits, the challenges, and they've been the summits, and they've been the affiliate stuff. The affiliate stuff is always the best. And if we put all these, I almost said knuckleheads, if we got, this is what we should do. We should tell everyone, you know what? You guys all have this stuff. Why don't you all promote yourselves? We're going to have a program specifically for you. It's $500 each, and you're all going to promote each other, and you're going to use the software that we've given you, right? Or maybe it should be $1,500 because that weeds out the people that are just going to go, oh, $500. That's like that's literally a date night. You know what I mean? So it's got to be more than a date night. Okay, the next question is, what do they have in common? So India, what do you think everyone has in common?
They want to be bigger. They want to grow, and they're stuck and where
Yeah,
they are now.
right. So they all want to be a bigger fish in a bigger ocean.
Hmm.
And some of them are taking the actions to do that.
And some are bigger fish, but they need more. They need to get
Right.
more into their fold. So maybe they have an event, and they need to get more butts and seats, and they're having trouble with that.
Right. So then the next question is, and oh my gosh, look at this. This is the commonality analysis. So you want to say their age, their gender, their biggest desire, um, how did they find you? So they found us through speaking. The biggest problem. So what do you think their biggest problem is?
Well, I think everyone's different. I think some people deal with mindset and imposter syndrome. I think others are trying to do it all, and they should delegate. Um, I think trust might be something, or they want to micromanage.
Two biggest problem. So it's going to be mindset. But aside from that, their biggest problem, in my opinion, is technical,
Yeah,
and they're not going to be able to do this.
right.
Like if we can sit with them for an hour and go, this is how you do it,
Hmm.
and now that song's going to be stuck in your head. This is how we do it, right? But the thing is, they're not technical, and
Right.
they don't have that passion, and they need a VA.
Yeah.
And we have a couple $20,000 clients, and all of them should be $20,000, which is our goal, right?
Right.
Because I'd rather have four $20,000 a month clients than four $1 a month clients. Whatever. Okay. So then this workbook's really good. So when are we going to
Yeah.
do this? Let me go over the next couple ones. So then this is organize the data. What do they have in so what are their differences? So this is a great question,
Mhm.
because a lot of these people are coaches, authors, entrepreneurs, right? But what are their differences, and what do you think the differences are?
Well, I can see it. Now, this is more of a mindset thing, but I can see people that really believe that they can make it, and I can see people that are so hesitant. They are just almost scared to make the first move.
Yeah.
So I see dreamers, and then I see people that are actually implementing, but they need to elevate. The dreamers, you know, I they're they are scared to move forward. They're almost paralyzed.
And it's okay. So
Mhm.
the people that are dreamers, they don't know they're dreamers.
Right.
And B is, we're a social animal, so we love to be in community.
Hmm.
Like, what I loved about Infusionsoft is they were my people. They were super nerds,
Hmm.
right? A lot of really good looking people in there too. A lot of highly functioning. They were married or they were dating. Like,
Right.
it's not like they were the guy, the wallflower in high school, that like the Napoleon Dynamite guy, right? These are actually functioning people,
Right.
but we're all super nerds, and I love to be in community like that. So some of them are like that now, but and the difference is some of them, um, I would say they want the
Community.
some of them want the community, and someone want the business. They're
Hmm.
like, I just want my business to grow.
Right.
I don't want to hang out with those people. That's literally why we separated
Yeah.
our groups. So we went from, hey, these people are this community, these people are this community. They're actually, and then we have the private clients that are like way on top of that.
Hmm.
Okay. And then what was the next thing? So this is a great question. How did they find you? So there's going to be various ways that people find us. Some of them are going to be through speaking, some of them are going to be through networking.
Hmm.
But how many of them are through social media that just never knew us and found us through social media?
I think the majority are not through social media. Social media is great for branding. And I think most of our clients are either networking or speaking. Um, and I think social media takes a little bit longer because they have to see you, if they'll
Yeah.
follow you, they have to see what you're saying. Do I trust them?
And
Maybe
you
I'll
have
book
to
a
be
call.
consistent with it. This is what a lot of people think. Hey, you're going to do our social media? Great. Okay, we're having an
Right.
event tomorrow.
Mhm.
Fill it up. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, you've got to be known. Like Anthony Robbins is Anthony Robbins because he was doing this since the 70s. I
Hmm.
was a little boy. I think my parents were married,
Hmm.
when Anthony Robbins came out. And I remember him on television in the
Hmm.
70s. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
That's how far back that guy goes, you
Yeah.
know? And so a lot of these people, even the up and comers, I see these guys now that are doing these YouTube ads and like I have no idea who they are. Brendan Bouchard. I remember when that guy came out, I was like, who the heck's that guy? And
Right.
now he's Brendan Bouchard.
Yeah.
Sam Ovens, right? That guy, like, probably has a $30 million house. It's like, and he only came out for like a short time and then disappeared.
Hmm.
I don't hear about him anymore. But I only heard about him for like a year and then he disappeared. Do you know who he is? Yeah, see right there. And that guy, was young and did a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the one thing is defining them. And then I wrote this, when you spot them, you got them. So remember when you met your favorite clients, remember how you felt, how you responded and reacted to what they said or did. Write
Hmm.
down everything you remember about these moments so that you could spot your future clients. Remember, this is mostly a feeling and intuition, right? So have you ever met that person and you're like, you know what? You would work perfect with me,
Hmm.
right? I met a lawyer and I would have worked perfect with her, but I didn't. I should have charged like 10 grand and I didn't.
Hmm.
And so she's just like, well, you must suck if you're charging that much, right?
Right.
So when you meet these people, how do you feel, or the question is, um, how did you feel? Write down everything you remember about these moments so you can spot your future client,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Have you ever met someone you're like, oh no, this is not going to work at all?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah.
What's their name?
You're surprised. Yeah. I've
Okay.
definitely met that person before.
Okay. So then we have this one. What do they value in your offer? Right.
Yeah.
So what major problems do they have? Are they business or life problems? So let's just chat about that. We only have a few minutes left. But what about their life problems? Because I think that's a really big deal. Like a lot of them are going to be like, say, like my business is running great, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It is in the pocket.
Yeah.
And we doubled our business this year. But
Hmm.
my spouse is pissed because I'm never around.
Right. Right.
And you know what my kids did on Father's Day? They wrote me this beautiful thing that said, I really miss you. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. There has to be work-life balance. I mean, I'm a big believer. I know sometimes we go really hard, both of us, you probably more than me, but there has to be work-life balance.
yeah, well, you have a life and I don't. So that's the difference.
Well, you do. But yeah, I think, like I'm a big believer. I look at the full package when if I'm trying to select a coach, I look at they have to be successful, of course, in their business, but also in their life. If I'm a big health nut, and if the and I know this sounds awful, but I do look at everything. And if I don't want to be that like how that person, and I don't mean physical looks, I mean, but are they in shape, or how are they treating their body? That's
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah, I've been working on that. So rather than going to McDonald's, I went to In and Out Burger because it's more healthy. What do you think about that? And they doubled up on the French fries. So I was like, hey, man, God loves me.
Yeah.
Okay, so then so there's that, and then Let me see. There's a lot of stuff. Let me see on. Okay, so here's the really cool stuff. I'm surprised. So who is your ideal client? How many clients are there? Right. Hold on a sec. So then I should really share this. There's a thing like their motivations, their limits, and what lead magnet, right? So you got to really look at what their motivations are in
Yeah.
order to speak to them, because it might be the same avatar, but they have different motivations. Like one avatar is going to be like, hey, we're both businesses, we're both doing the same thing, but so I think men, there's a saying, and I think it's true saying, happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm.
So men are going to be like, I'm doing all this for my family. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saying that is probably not cool to say in 2024, but every hour a man spends away from his family is so he can be with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything a man does is so he can be with his family. I think women are more nurturing, so I don't really know on that side. But then what was the other thing here? And then someone else might want to be in the same business, the way you approach them, right? So one person might want to take a quiz and someone might want to go watch a video, right? So I'm a video guy. You give me videos, I'm there. But if you give me something to read, I'm like, I don't want to sit here and read this shit. Why don't they just make it a video, right? So you have to approach people the
Yeah.
right way. And I don't know how to do that. Here's a good one for you. What we used to have this discussion was, how do you talk to people from the South in your content
Mm-hmm.
as compared to people on the West Coast,
Okay.
as compared to people in New York?
Yeah.
People in New York talk really fast. People
Right.
in the South talk really slow. People in the West Coast, they speak kind of right in between that.
Mm-hmm.
So then how do you write the content in such a way to where it's going to grip them, even though they're all the same avatar, but they're from different cultures?
That's a good question. I've never really, I mean, I make content, but I don't think about different areas to speak to.
Right. Well, I have a great story on that. I used to do tech support. So I worked for a company called CompuAd. CompuAd was bigger than Dell Computers at one time, and Gateway. They were bigger than Computer City or whatever it was called. And they were the biggest retailer in the world at one time. And what happened was, I had a friend, and this really doesn't have anything to do with anything, but he was black, and we did tech support, and this was for Windows, like when Windows came out, because I'm a Microsoft guy, right? So he's on the phone with this guy, and we're in Texas. So my friend was telling the guy, okay, you need to untake the 2 screws out of the back of the thing. Okay, and now you got to take the hood off the back of the computer. Now you got to get in there and you got to take the cables off. And the guy would not do it. And the guy was from the South. And my friend, and it was just he and I working that night. We worked 3rd shift. And he looks at me, he goes, Sean, I'm going to hang up on, I don't even know what to do for this guy. So he finally said to the guy, and the guy on the other line, the guy getting the support, was from the South. He goes, sir, can you hold on a sec? I'm going to have someone else work with you. He put him on hold, and he goes, all right, sir, are you there? All right. So first thing you want to do.
He did not.
Yes, he did. And the guy listened to everything he said, because we lived in Texas. So when you live in Texas a little bit, got to put a little S's, or sometimes you put a little whistle on your S, right?
All right.
So so he did that. So you got to look at your content.
Yeah.
How do you do that with your content? So we're not going to go over all this because it's a lot, and we're coming up to the top of the hour. But these are the things that we're going to do in our next workshop. Our next workshop, should it be this Friday, the master class?
Oh yeah, we could do that. That would be great to talk about this.
Now, there is not just that. There's a worksheet. It's everything. And I wrote this a long time ago, so I'll get it all over to you. And then everyone else can have it that shows up.
Right.
We'll just blast it out to the list, and we'll just change the content on the page and say, hey, here's a new thing.
Yeah, that'd be a
So
great
to wrap
topic.
this up, you want to tell them everything over again?
Oh, everything you want me to?
Well, just steps 1 through 8.
Okay, so defining your perfect ideal client. Number 1, define the character. Describe what their key characteristics, values, and what they will achieve by working with you. Number 2, this character has a problem. Identify the external, the internal struggles, and the philosophical problems your ideal client has. Number 3, meets the guide. You're the guide. So, how are you going to demonstrate empathy and establish your authority to effectively guide your client? Number 4, you're going to give them a plan, an outline, a clear process for your clients who then you're going to build their confidence and trust in your expertise. And then number 5, you call them to action. Define actions and transitional steps to encourage your clients to engage with you. Number 6, the ends in a successful outcome. So what results are you going to get them? Visualize the success and the improvements your clients will make by working with you. Number 7, that helps them avoid the failure. You've been there, you understand it, you can help them avoid the pitfalls. And then lastly, number 8, the character transformation that they go through. So map out the journey of their transformation that your clients will undergo from the initial struggles to the ultimate success. So that's it.
Nice. Okay, great. You want to sign off?
You can do it. You're the voice, I'm the face.
So I'm going to do it in my smooth jazz voice.
Okay.
So this Saturday, this Saturday, I'm going to probably have some pancakes. But this Friday,
Right.
which will be June 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific, we're going to have the Coach Marketing Masterclass, and we're going to do what's called the Avatar Revisited.
Okay.
Now, this is not the avatar work. It is completely different. I remember when I wrote this, it had to do with once you know what your avatar is, what are the steps after that? So it's you get the avatar, you get everything we just talked about, then you market to them, then you get the numbers, and then you revisit it and you go, oh, this is who it is.
Okay.
I thought it was this, but it's really this. All right.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, so signing off. It's going to be this Friday, June 21st at 10 a.m. Go to Coach Marketing Masterclass, sign up, and we'll see you there. Thanks.
Pacific time.
Pacific time.